Hello and welcome to another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. I'm Kaiju Kim. Hope you're all doing well on this lovely afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. Apologies for the technical difficulties that we will be experiencing this evening, and it's gonna look a little weird, but you'll see what I mean. It'll be a great time. Anyway, so we all played with toys as kids. I personally found playtime to be the best time of any day. Then I became an adult and I got other interests and other responsibilities. And all these wonderful toys you see behind me are just for show, unless my niece and nephew come over and then we play with some of the Bandai figures, but I digress. But my guest for tonight has not only found a way to make it socially acceptable to play with these awesome toys as an adult, but he also found a way to make some pretty fantastic content out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only Daikaiju Legends. Ooh.
Oh no, it lost me again.
Oh, there we go. It's gonna be weird tonight, guys. Just
Lots of
bear with us as we
weird webcam stuff.
There we go. That's the one. I figured it out.
Sweet. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing awesome. You know, I'm in the just chilling in the nerd cave on a nice, surprisingly warm Sunday. Like all of a sudden, Missouri weather decided to be really nice today. So.
Oh yeah, that's good. Always nice to have nice warm weather in the middle of winter. I always like that.
Not that I go outside. I don't need to go outside.
That's true. That's true. So when I first met you over on our friend Matt's channel, and I thought to myself, this guy looks kind of familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on where I'd seen you before. Then I was scrolling through your channel today, and it finally hit me. G-Fest 2018 Kaiju Filmmaking panel.
Oh my gosh, you were there.
I was totally there.
Oh, no way. Oh my god, that's a fun panel. I really enjoyed doing that every year. That's really cool that you were there. I had no idea even.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, oh man, this guy's so cool. I got to subscribe to his channel. And then I got distracted and I forgot. I'm subscribed now, so it took a few years, but it happened. It got done. It got done. That's all that matters.
That's right.
Alrighty, let's see who we have in the chat tonight. We got Toku Punk Productions. Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. We got Paul Tackett in the chat.
Tackett.
Yeah, what's going on? We got Kasaibo F29. Hello. James Shelton. Godzilla Nerds 1954. How's it going? And Doomzilla. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by, taking time out of your day to hang out with us.
How's everyone doing?
Alrighty. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? So, I always like to ask my guests 3 questions to get the conversation rolling. How did you get into Godzilla? What's your favorite Godzilla film? And what is your favorite non-Godzilla kaiju film?
Okay. Okay, so I got into Godzilla because I liked dinosaurs. I mean, I still like dinosaurs, but every kid's into dinosaurs at some point. I grew up watching Jurassic Park and stuff, and I thought it was the most insane, awesome thing ever. And then all of a sudden, I don't know which came first, if I found a Godzilla toy first or if I watched a movie first. But either way, my family took a Disney vacation one summer or something when I was super young. And the Epcot park has all the different country shops and stuff, and there's a Japan shop that you can go to. And I went in there, and there was this USA X Plus Godzilla 1964 toy. And I was like, what is that? That's a dinosaur, but he's got cool spikes on his back or something. And I got that. That was the start, at least of my collecting. But the first movies that I saw were either Godzilla's Revenge or King Kong vs. Godzilla. likewise, probably because I was into dinosaurs and like my whole family's like, well, he'll probably like that. I guess you can watch that instead of like Jurassic Park. Just Jurassic Park's a little violent, I guess. Um, and so I spent a lot of like road trips and car rides watching those over and over and stuff. And I mean, the rest is history, I guess. Um, and the favorite Godzilla movie was the second question.
Yep.
Okay, that's a tough one. It's probably King Kong versus Godzilla still. That kind of tussles with versus Mechagodzilla nowadays for like the top slot. But I really love that movie to death. Both like the US and Japan versions, it's like it's really enjoyable in that aspect. It's like you have two different viewing experiences. Like if you want something just kind of dumb and fun, you can watch the American cut, or like the Japanese cut, which is a little more, I don't know, it's sophisticated is like speaking too high of it, I think, but there's a little more like substance there, I guess, with the whole like Japanese television critiques and stuff that's going on. It's super fun all around, and as you can tell by that, hold on, that guy, I love the 62 Kong design. It's so stupid, but I love it. I'm a fan of garbage. I'm surrounded by garbage.
I mean, aren't we all?
True. For Godzilla fans, I guess we like a little garbage.
All right, and the third question: non-Godzilla kaiju film. Your favorite?
That's tough. I'm actually, no, it's not that tough. Probably Gamera 3. Iris whatever, Iris something.
Iris whatever, Iris something. Yes,
I don't know, whatever it's officially called now. Advent or Awakening something.
It's Revenge of Iris.
Is it Revenge of Iris? Okay, because I remember Advent of it's Advent of Legion. Yeah. I'm a fake fan, obviously.
You get out. You're canceled. You're a fake fan. I don't tolerate fake fans on my channel. Get out.
All right, I'll go then. What a fake fan. Look at all this. Yeah, these are my cousins, guys. It's not mine, not my stuff. No, but I adore the Heisei Gamera films so much. I don't rewatch them as often as like I rewatch Godzilla stuff or Ultraman stuff. That's like my other, my second love, I think. Even though I talk about Ultraman way more usually. I really love all the miniature work that's on display, like the inventiveness and creativity of all the camera angles that they accomplish in those. It's really cool. And I think when I watched those when I was younger, I was like, oh my God, you can like make really good stuff with suits and miniatures and just make it really, really like awe-inspiring to look at.
Awesome. So for the two people in the audience who don't know who you are, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you got into doing what you do?
So I have a YouTube channel, Daikaiju Legends, where I play with dolls and make them explode, basically.
That's the best hobby ever.
Yeah. So I have like two main things that I do. There's a kind of fan continuation / reboot of Zone Fighter, which is like my favorite non-Ultraman, Godzilla, whatever related toku thing. Like there's a whole shrine dedicated to it back there. I love it a lot. And then the other kind of main thing that I do on my channel now is a little series called Planet Kaiju, which has been kind of developing into a little bit more of a disconnected sandbox thing. It's like video essays, comedy sketches, stuff that may as well be like a Zone Fighter episode or something, with how much like effects work gets put into it. But it's all over the place, but it's a lot of fun. We dissect like a lot of different topics and stuff. I mean, ranging from Godzilla hot sauce to trying to make sense of why Godzilla's Revenge is like this masterclass movie or something. It's a lot of fun. I just have fun doing what I do. Which I think I like got into it around 2010, 2011 or so. When I had enjoyed Godzilla a ton as a kid, but I think like at some point I like fell out of it a little bit because I was trying to be like trying to be cool, I guess. And I was like, oh well, Godzilla isn't cool. I need to like remove that aspect of my life. So I put all my dolls in a drawer somewhere. Um, and then like one day I just decided to look up like, oh, I wonder what like people make Godzilla content of on YouTube. And I found like a lot of the early kind of pioneers of Godzilla content, like Goji 73 and stuff, and like super early Monster Island Buddy stuff, or Goji Fan 93, Chris Cooper's. I saw all that stuff. I'm like, that's cool. Wait, they're just looking at toys on their cameras. I have toys in my closet. um, and so I like dug all those up, and I started just being like, okay, what can I even do here? And that in turn led to me experimenting a ton with visual effects, which is kind of like the thing I'm known for, I guess, on YouTube, is just doing special effects, visual effects, whatever. And doing all that on YouTube has led now to like, that's what I do as a career, is like I edit videos and I do motion graphics and visual effects. So it's like, it's weird that that's played such a big role in my life, but without doing YouTube stuff, I don't think I'd be the person I am today.
That's awesome. And I have to say, you have done some pretty freaking amazing work.
Thank you.
Like I'm so impressed with like all of the Zone Fighter videos and how smooth and lively all the animations are. And I just know that took an insane amount of work. Insane.
It's a lot. The bigger videos, I don't know, they take anywhere from a couple months to like a year or something, depending on when a number of factors, like what I have in my personal life. Obviously now I have like a full-time job that I have to balance with everything else, instead of just like, oh, I go to school and work on the weekends. I can just do YouTube all the time.
Screw adult responsibilities. Just stay home and play with your toys.
Right. So like, if I buckle myself down, I can make a huge video in like a couple weeks to a month if I don't want to sleep or something. I can survive off coffee for a bit, but if I take my time with something, that'll take months to however long, depending on the video. But it's it's worth it in the end. It's all about just persevering and getting that end product, I guess.
Yeah, I was imagining maybe it like maybe it takes them like a few days or a few weeks even, but like months even. Wow, dang.
Well, the most recent video that I did was a Halloween special about like the evil spooky Ultraman transformation toys, which kind of blew up in my face as becoming like way bigger of a project than I intended it to be. It started as just being like a funny little quirky commentary video about these stupid hunks of plastic, and then morphed into like, oh, maybe I'll put a musical number in there. Oh, I'll put like this 5-minute fight sequence at the very end, and also I'm gonna edit it all in like 2 or 3 weeks while balancing a full-time job, which not a good idea. But like, no. I kind of almost did it, and it's stuff like that kind of shows me it's better to take your time a little bit more, even though I really like just working and working and working. I feel bad if I'm like not doing stuff.
Yeah, that's an issue a lot of people have. Like they get so go, and then they forget they need to sleep. I mean, sleep is kind of important, guys.
Dude, seriously, I've been taking time off since then to just like recharge, because it's weird. Like I didn't creatively burn myself out. I still like, I'm working on a lot of stuff in the background still, like working with a lot of different artists and collaborating with musicians and stuff on future projects, which is super, super fun. But I was like, all right, I'm like physically exhausted from doing this, which, it's weird because I just sit at a desk working for all the time, but it takes a toll. So now I'm like, ooh, all right, let's bounce back a little bit and take things slower.
Yeah, I can tell, I can see how it can take a toll on you, because I'm sure you've obviously used After Effects. You're like a freaking After Effects wizard. You probably know that software like the back of your hand. Like, so I did some rotoscoping for a short film a few years back, and back then I had just learned how to do rotoscoping, so it probably took me longer than it probably should have. Um, but like I was at one point I felt like I was staring at After Effects for so long that we were becoming one, like merging together.
Yeah.
Like,
It
did
it
you like
takes a
that sometimes?
toll if you're just staring
Yeah.
at the same thing all the time. Like you lose sight of what you're even working on so badly. Um, which that happened especially on this last video because a lot of like the effect shots are like it's the exact same process, like green screen the guys, add in the Halloween spooky background. Um, which like each shot's different, but eventually it's like, oh my god, I'm just like I'm bogged down by just doing the exact same thing.
You start seeing it in your sleep, in your dreams.
Seriously, it's like I like will look back and I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot that like that was a shot that I put in there. Because it was so like it was autopilot basically at some point. Um, minus After Effects being a stupid program to work with, but
Yeah, it can be a thing. That's another video for another day.
oh my god,
Uh, so can you walk us through like the overall process of making just one of those videos? Like just like
yeah.
what goes down? How's it go down from like the writing to like post production?
I tend to just get a lot of like ideas on the fly first. Like I have a whole board, like just a list of ideas that I have for stuff. And it might be just something basic like, oh, like Hanna-Barbera Godzilla or something. If I just think about that, or something like Zone Fighter, I might listen to like a piece of music or something that like gets me inspired thinking about like oh what's a kaiju fight look like when played with this soundtrack or something. And so like in my mind and also like just on paper now because I get a lot of just stupid nonsense ideas that I still like to write down. I just like collect those just to like kind of ruminate on them and see like what I really want to work on, versus just like what sounds funny in the moment. And so then that eventually turns into like, all right, I'll pull this idea out and like start developing a whole script for it and stuff, which I'm not like a writer at all. Writing is not my passion. It's like I like to think in ideas. Like I'll be like, oh, that would be like a cool shot. Okay, well, how are you gonna work it into like this whole thing? I don't know.
I just want to make it because it sounds cool.
Yeah, I have like there's like 5 ideas, like 5 cool things I want to hit on in this video. I just need to somehow somewhat sensibly make it go from point A to point B and make it seem decent enough. Um, so writing like can take anywhere from a day to a couple weeks to a couple months, just depending on like when I feel like writing, I guess. It's which sucks because it's so rare for me to get in that mood, but that's like the main hurdle to making a video because after that like the rest is it's routine at this point. But so I'll write a script and then especially with a lot of recent projects, then it comes down to like finding out people that I need to collaborate with on artwork or music, having like props made, CG models made or something. And I'll gather all that together, maybe make storyboards for people if I need to. I usually don't make storyboards for myself just because I'm the one person doing everything. So I don't really need to like, I can see it in my brain, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I'll do that. And then really then it's just a matter of like finding days to shoot with my friends whenever we're free to, because we all just do it for fun on our own time. Which, that could take another couple days or weeks to just get everyone together to do stuff. And then shoot it. And then it's really just like up to me to sit my butt down and edit and do all the effects and whatever. Which obviously can take anywhere from, something easy like the hot sauce video that I did last year is like just a couple days of editing when I was off of work, and then other stuff like a Halloween special about plastic toys or a Zone Fighter episode might take months or weeks if I take it at a like really fast pace. So it's a very long process, and it's become like crazy to me how many things I have going on at once at some points, especially right now where I have like 3 or 4 like super big videos that I'm like have my hands in like writing for one, outsourcing music for another, getting ready to shoot another, and then all these like other smaller videos that I could just do by myself whenever I wanted. But it's like, whoa, there's a weird balance to find between it all.
I would imagine so. Um, is there any other software you used? Is it just After Effects or Premiere Pro or whatever editing software you use?
It's basically After Effects and Premiere. I mean, like I have Photoshop, but I'm a weird I use After Effects for Photoshop tasks kind of person just because I know After Effects more. Um,
Yeah, same here.
I might it works. It's all the same stuff, just like in different places. Um, I might use Audition for audio stuff at some points, like if I'm recording voiceovers, or doing an especially like intensive audio mix for a video. But that's really it. I don't mess with like a lot of 3D CG software at all yet, at least. Like that's the hurdle that I'm trying to like jump into, but it's a lot. It's a big hurdle.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. Is there an area of filmmaking that you don't know how to do but would like to learn?
Yeah, it's at least in terms of visual effects, it's definitely CG 3D stuff. Because a lot of the stuff that I do, I might like manually keyframe a lot of animations or use weird plugins that kind of get 3D models in After Effects. But I know it's like in my mind, I know that I'm doing stuff that's way harder than it needs to be if I just like took the plunge into Blender or Cinema 4D or something. But I need to take a bit of time to myself to like learn that more. But for now, I've been like enlisting people like Toku Society, who's in chat. He does really sweet stuff. Having people like him kind of like lend me some muscle in that regard. But they do like way better than I could right now, or possibly like in the future even. But I also would like to. I enjoy trying to improve my writing skills. It's like it's probably my weakest link overall. But I'm trying to train myself a little better to have more fun with it, I guess, instead of trying to like force something out. Just take my time and let stuff flow, even if it's not like super quick. If I'm writing better stuff by doing that, it's like, it's a little more enjoyable. I'd like to improve that, I think.
Okay. So you've done stuff with Ultraman, Godzilla, and of course Zone Fighter. Would you be interested in branching out to other franchises like Kamen Rider, Super Sentai?
Yes, I just need to watch some first. I'm like, I grew up on like Power Rangers Dino Thunder. I
Okay.
love that show and a little
That's a
bit of
great
Mighty
show.
Morphin. I have not watched even any like Power Rangers outside of that, or like Sentai shows. But I'm sure it's kind of the same stuff at the end of the day as like Ultraman or whatever. Just I have to assume like, well, fight some monsters, mass superheroes, stupid toys. But I need to get into it, especially like Kamen Rider, because I know like that's up and coming so much more in the West as of recently, and now there's Ano's Shin Kamen Rider movie that's coming out. So I'm like, well, I guess I gotta like get into it now so I can feel involved, I guess, and be more attentive to all this stuff that's coming out. But one that has very much interested me is the Toei Spider-Man show.
Oh.
I've been taking a very big interest in that as of late. In fact, there's a leopardon thing that I got recently, which is pretty cool. But that shows more of a like, oh, I know a lot of stuff about it, but I haven't seen the whole thing. And so I've been wanting to dive into that more. But it's like I kind of feel like if I'm going into that, then I should probably go into Rider first, because that's like they're kind of two peas in the same pot a little bit. But yeah, I really want to try to get into that stuff more.
Awesome. So I know you said you're kind of taking a break after that Halloween video, but like, is there anything like you maybe want to work on, or can you give us a hint at what collaborations you got happening behind the scenes?
So I have a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes right now. So there was a Christmas special that was supposed to and almost did come out after the Halloween special last year. But after I like kind of burned myself dry a little bit working on that, I was like getting really into this Christmas special that I was working on. And like toward the end of it, I'm like, I'm not making something that's really like that fun right now, because I'm still like, it was feeling like a chore to set up stuff and film. And I was like, all right, that was kind of the moment that I'm like, all right, I need to like step back and just kind of take it easy for a little bit. But I saw that it's like a net positive, because I'm like, all right, I can also take more time on it and make it bigger than it was going to be originally. But that's been super fun. I've been collaborating with musician Garrett Williamson on some original songs for that, which has been a blast. He like makes insanely cool stuff. A lot of CG people, Toku Society's been working on that. A lot of 2D artists as well doing stuff. It's a super big like collaborative thing. I'm trying to like bring in all these different people from different corners of the community to kind of put a little something special of theirs into it. So that's not even going to be for like another 10 months, but it's still like at this point it's going to be coming up on like a year already that I've been working on it, from like writing to getting collaborations set up and actors involved. And it's kind of like a pseudo sequel in the vein of like this Pulgasari Christmas special that I made back in 2020, which was super fun to work on. So it's kind of like an extension of that, but like way more insanely involved. That I have videos in the works specifically about Sevenger, that guy. I've got like a whole shrine dedicated to him up there. I'm working on another big video that's all about Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, like the American adaptation of Girdman and stuff. I have like another whole shrine dedicated to stuff from that up there. Among like lots of other smaller projects. I mean, like I'll show you this. I'm just a capitalist shill apparently, because I decided like, hey, let's buy the entire like stock of everything on that stupid Godzilla Foods website. So I have like the 6 hot sauces from that first wave they released, and all the 6 new ones that they just unveiled too. Just to make a stupid short video about that, all the coffees and hot chocolates and stuff. So hopefully have some fun turning those into some dumb, silly videos. But that's those are all the major ones, and then like Zone Fighter stuff as well when I can. I have like that's surprisingly like in an interesting spot. I have a ton of work done on the 9th episode. The 10th episode is like completely shot already. It's been shot for like 2 years. So that's just a matter of like I need to set aside time to get that done. But yeah, there's a lot happening. And it's exciting stuff, I think. Of course, it just is like, I want to get it out now, but a lot of it is, time is a very like sensitive commodity now. It's like it's hard to get everything done that I used to be able to, where I could just come home from school every day and work. Yeah.
Yeah, this whole being an adult thing and your adult responsibilities, it just gets in the way of having fun.
I know it's been an interesting shift in dynamic because I just graduated college last May.
Congrats.
Thank you. And so I had like a couple months of just not total freedom. I was freelancing a lot of my video work, which basically, I could work on my own schedule. Um, but then now recently I work full time. So it's like, okay, well, that's a lot of my time that's just gone every day. Um, Amidst like all the hustle and bustle of other stuff. I'm getting ready to move into like my own place soon, which I'm hopeful is like, okay, it's an opportunity to like have my own little studio, I guess, or just like my own private space I can just film and record whenever I want instead of worrying about like oh, are people going to be home or they don't want me to do stuff right now, so it's like I can kind of do whatever I want, which is exciting, but it's still an adulting process getting there.
Yeah, adulting. Best of luck with that. And I was gonna ask you, like, how do you sleep in that room? Like, is there a bed, like an air
Oh,
mattress in there?
there's a mattress, there's a bed over there, like past I can't even point this to show it because there's just records there, but
It's just
um
like
there
like
is a bed there.
looks a little claustrophobic. You have like a million toys.
Yeah, it's pretty claustrophobic, I won't lie. My next like living space when I move in this apartment, I'm like, all right, I need to like let it breathe a little bit more because this is cool, but it's definitely like there's not much room for anything.
It's like if you move the wrong way, like just everything will just fall apart.
Basically. I know, like some of these guys, like especially on that Zone Fighter shelf back there, I have like sticky tack under their feet, so they just stay up, and I don't have to worry about it. But it's funny, like my roommates or like other people will see this room and just be like, "It just looks like a toy store." Like,
It really does.
I guess so.
It does. Oh, mercy. So, anyway, so once again, you've already made some pretty fantastic stuff. So do you have a dream project, or have you already done your dream project, maybe?
I mean, I think the ultimate dream would be like working on like an official Godzilla or Ultraman thing, doing effects for that in some way. Um, which is especially because I watch a lot of Ultraman, like the newer stuff, Zet and Trigger, and because I'm so like deep into the visual effects rabbit hole now, a lot of the time I'll like watch those shows and I'll be like, oh, I know how they did that. Like I'm watching it like I could do exactly that. Um, Obviously I just don't have suits. I use dolls really.
Close enough.
But yeah, basically. um, but like I'll watch with my friends and stuff. It's become like a running joke where there'll be like a digital explosion or debris flying or something, and they'll say, Jake, what effects pack is that? Because like I've become so in tune with everything where I can be like, oh, that's explosion number 5 from Action Essentials Volume 2 or something. Where I just recognize all that. But it's fun. Like it gives me that weird little like confidence boost where I'm like, okay, I in theory, who needs a language barrier or something? Like in theory, I could be doing this exact same stuff. Which like I last summer was super awesome. I got to work on the official like Ultraman Day live stream
Ooh,
event that Tokushatsu was doing. Mike
awesome.
Dent like helped me get involved with that. Like, who's freaking amazing. He's an awesome guy. Um, and that was super fun. It's like the closest that I've come to that so far of being like officially involved. But like aside from that, I think the eventual goal is just make an original like Toku style series, something in the vein of Godzilla and Ultraman and Rider and stuff. Um, but obviously like wholly my own because a lot of what I do right now is like, oh, I'm doing this Zone Fighter show. Somebody owns Zone Fighter, so it's like I can't, in the filmmaker part of my brain, it's like, well, I can't like put that into a festival or something or like do anything with it because I technically it's illegal technically. That's like a bootleg show. So that's a very slow process, because a lot of the videos that I make nowadays are obviously they're derivative of stuff. Even if it's this whole Halloween special about stupid evil Ultraman toys and stuff, that's still like I'm still pulling pieces from this thing that's already existing. So it's a slow process, but every so often I'll get like an idea in my head where I'm like, oh, that's something original, I guess, and I'll write it down. But it's a very long road that's ahead, I'm sure, of designing characters, building sets, having suits at all or something. So it's a very long process that I know is ahead of me, but that's the eventual goal. Maybe like something will come of that. I don't know. We'll get like Toku shows on Netflix or something. I don't know.
That would be awesome. We need Toku shows on Netflix, honestly. So,
Seriously.
what would your original Toku character or Toku hero look like? Like, what's his name? What are his powers? What does he do?
I've thought about this so much, and I keep like flipping back and forth. I like a lot of different ideas. Something that's maybe like a bit of a gravity or telekinetic focused hero. Something like, how like Space Godzilla acts in like the Pipeworks Godzilla games, where a lot of his stuff is based off of telekinesis or not telepathy, telekinesis, yeah, where he's moving stuff around. I like that kind of concept a lot, where it's very non-conventional, I guess, instead of just dudes slapping each other and stuff. I honestly couldn't tell you like what they look like or what their name is, because a character designer is definitely like not what I have at all. I might have like a little flash in my head of something, and I'll think about it more, and I'll be like, oh, that's this other Ultraman design that I'm like pulling other elements from. Like, well, shoot, now it's so that's work that I'd probably work with someone who's more experienced on that on. But
Yeah, just like draw a stick figure of what's in your head, and then just send it to the character designer.
I know.
Just like, here, can you make this look good?
Exactly. Yeah. But I very much like a red and blue color scheme, which has kind of been done by like a lot of Ultraman characters and stuff. But also like Zone Fighter, obviously. That's like the main guy that comes to mind as like a red and blue hero. So I think in like kind of paying homage to that, I'd love to have a hero that's kind of that color scheme, sort of a similar-ish design vein, where it's very like simple, but it's pleasing to the eye, I guess. Because that's obviously like that's kind of a big thing now, is like a lot of heroes are very like complicated looking, which isn't a bad thing, but it's definitely a far cry from like the very simple, easy to digest designs of the good old days or something.
The good old days. Gotta love them. So, what do you do when you're not playing with toys and making videos or working a full-time job?
I mean, I'm doing the normal things that I guess most 22-year-olds are doing. Is just like I'll try to play a video game with my friends or something, or go hang out with people. I'm surprisingly like I'm a little bit of like a theater nerd, is kind of what most people are kind of learning that now, as I'm putting more like musical numbers in videos and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hence the musical number in the Halloween special, which is my favorite part, by the way.
Good, I'm glad. But yeah, so that's I enjoy doing that. I mean, obviously I'm a film person. I like watching movies. I like stuff that's outside of the kaiju toku sphere, which is like, that was unheard of for the longest time. I just, people would ask me like, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, Godzilla.
Good answer.
Yeah, but then I realized like in middle and high school and stuff that there's like, oh my god, there's like there's other good movies out there. Whoa. But yeah, so I've been doing a lot of gaming recently as just a way to unwind. Like last year, I barely got to play any of these like new releases that came out on Switch or whatever, and so now I've been taking time. I've been diving into like uh, Pokemon Legends Arceus this past month, which has been super fun. But it's it's a very nice way to unwind, and it's also like brought back a lot of that love that I have for gaming, like retro gaming and stuff as well. Like I have that little CRT TV back there, and I've been diving more into collecting retro systems and games and stuff. Especially at my new place, to like have a nice little setup with just all sorts of old systems and stuff that I used to have back in the day. So that's been like a new hobby of mine that's been kind of sprouting into life.
Awesome. Kaimo Film says, I see the Mondo Hanna-Barbera Godzilla figure in your shelf, Jake. I know people don't like it, but it's worth every penny. IMO.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's obviously it's not like 1-to-1 looking, I guess. But I've definitely enjoyed having it. It's a super cool piece. Especially because, well, this is something else that like I collect on the side besides like dolls. Like I like to collect VHS tapes of and namely kaiju stuff right now, but I've been kind of getting into more just other movies from my childhood and stuff. But I like it in that regard where I'm like, okay, now I have like something that I can display with this tape.
Yay.
But no, it's super cool just because it's more obscure. I mean, this is like the only official figure I think of the Hanna-Barbera design that we have. There's like some 3D printed stuff on Etsy that looks really, really freaking good. But it's obviously like way more expensive and stuff. So it's super cool. And they have the Attack Peter Godzilla coming out soon as well. I'm super excited for that. I think it's going to be super cool.
Awesome. Was it worth, how much did it cost? Like $125, I heard?
Yeah, it was a bit more than like your conventional figure, especially it's just a statue. But I'm lucky to like be able to work to afford that kind of stuff, I guess. So to me, I was like, okay, sure, whatever. But I appreciate as well that it's, as far as I know, it's a kind of, it's much more of like a handcrafted piece as opposed to, mass factory produced vinyls or whatever. I want to say like each one was kind of painted individually, which was cool. And I think that kind of justifies that price tag a little bit more, at least. But it's a little pricey, I'd say.
I would say, I think a lot of people would say that's a little pricey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So last question to close out the discussion. What advice can you give to anyone who's trying to get into filmmaking or VFX?
My main thing has always just been like, I just tell people like, if you want to do something, just do it. Like, don't. I've met a lot of people. This isn't necessarily like a dig at anyone or anything, but it's something that I see a lot, and it makes me scratch my head a little bit. People will like talk about like all these big like universes, all these ideas they have for like kaiju movies they want to make or Godzilla fan films and stuff, and they'll spend so much time like in the pre-production process, like going over and over and over again in the writing, or just spending all this time crafting a big interwoven story and stuff, when like that's not necessarily what they're wanting to do it for. They just like, don't worry about spending weeks and weeks at a time in the writing process if you're concerned it's not as good the first go around as you think it could be. Like, just put something out there is the main thing for me. It's so important to just make something at all rather than nothing, I think, because that's the only way that you really can improve. I mean, you can improve like your writing or your storyboards or your ideas in your head, your characters or whatever. But I think it's much easier and quicker to learn through just trial and error, and like just make something and see if it works, if it resonates with people that you want to have watch it, if it resonates with you at all. Um, so it's difficult to get that kind of ball rolling sometimes, but I think that's the most important part of wanting to create something, is actually having the ability to say, okay, it might not be the best, but I'm gonna make something at all. Um, and I think that's the biggest piece of advice that I can give, and that's kind of how I've tried to do my work ethic most of my life, at least, is just make something. Like I said, like I'm not a strong writer at all, and I know my scripts like can be way better, and I try to improve them, but I would much rather take a little hit after like I put a video out and people are like, oh, this dialogue's weird or stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, I see that, but I'm glad that I put the time in to make the video anyway, because now I know for next time I know all this other stuff that I can improve upon already. So also, don't burn yourself out. Don't
Yeah, that's another thing.
don't do that if you're not enjoying what you're doing. On the flip side of that, don't force something. There's a difference between having drive and burning yourself out, really.
Yeah, that's pretty solid advice that I've actually had to take myself, because I'm a few years older than you, and I have nothing. I got nothing to my name really. That's
Mhm.
like worth sharing, and just you just put stuff out there, and it's just like so inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing your talent and your content, and we'll give the chat a couple minutes to pop chime in with any questions that they may have for you. In the meantime, before we go, why don't you plug your stuff and tell people where they can find you if they haven't found you already?
I'm on YouTube. I'm on here, Daikaiju Legends. Or if you look up Zone Fighter, Planet Kaiju, any of the stuff we do, you'll probably find it. Um, I have a Patreon that people can donate to. I don't really like
Please
ask
give me
people.
money.
Yeah, I don't do that to be like, oh, give me money, but like, that's
Yeah.
one way that means a lot for like, oh, that helps us improve the stuff that we're making, and hire more artists to do cool stuff. It's just it's a neat way to help the channel, and it's super inspiring to know that people want to give me their hard-earned money so that I can spend it on stupid dolls to make videos. But yeah, that's really, I have a Twitter that I shit post on sometimes, but that's about it. Oh, sorry, family friendly. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll let it slide. It's towards the end, reading people anyway. It's okay. I'll bleep it out when I do a podcast version of this. Anyway. All right, we got a question from Kaijutopia. Hello, Kaijutopia. What VFX shots are you most proud of?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Also, shout out to Kaijutopia, who's another guy doing like stupid awesome VFX stuff out there in the YouTube kaiju sphere. He does really cool stuff. That I'm most proud of. There's in the most recent Zone Fighter episode, season 2, episode 8. I don't know if this is the one that I'm most proud of, but it's one that comes to mind as like one that I enjoyed looking at and being like, that's cool. Where it's this shot where the monster Black King is like, he's charging up like a beam and he fires it off, and the camera kind of does this thing where it starts like super close and on his face and dollies all the way out as he charges it up, and then he fires this beam and the camera like spins around to follow it as it's like slicing through all these buildings and stuff. And that's one that stands out in my mind, at least, as like yeah, I did that. or there's another one from that same episode, which is a simple shot where like there's a monster coming out of the ground and like all this debris flies everywhere. And I just had a lot of fun putting like weird little details into it because it was a shot that I filmed when I was in Tokyo just on my phone of like buildings. And the ground bursts and I had to figure out there's all these cars on the street. What do I do? So I tried something new. That was my first time like painting out a lot of objects in a shot like that. And animating something where like all these cars are still in the shot, but then they like get blown back when the ground explodes. It's shots like that where I put like a couple of nights work into, versus a lot of shots, which is just like, all right, blaze through, get it done. Which, you know, goes to show like if you put a lot of time into something, you'll make something super cool. But yeah, I'd say probably maybe between those two. I'm sure there's some other one that I'm not thinking of, but those were
You'll
very
probably
fun.
think of another one after we go off the air.
Oh yeah, I think of 15 other ones that I could have said or something like, oh shoot.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes down. All right, from Ms. Man 24. Hey Jake, what joke in a vid is your favorite?
I think one of my favorites is one. It's not even. I didn't even come up with it. Was in a video last year that I made about G Fest and like how there was no G Fest and stuff. And so I go, well, first of all, this is like a joke that I'm proud of still, that I just drove up to the G Fest hotel to shoot a video without a convention even happening. It's like 5 hours away. I'm
Wow.
like, I'll do it, I guess, just for the fun of it.
That's commitment.
But there's a specific joke in there. There's like this secondary character who's supposed to be like a priest, who comes to G Fest, because he thinks it's God's Fest instead of Godzilla Fest. There's a joke where, because at G Fest they have the big Titanosaurus Society blood party where they serve all this alcohol or whatever, you know, the bottle of stuff with the XXX on it that you're not supposed to drink. And in this G Fest video we made a joke, right? I like kind of come out on the patio and there's no one there. I'm like, where's the blood party at? This priest character like looks over. He's like, do you mean communion? That's I think that's my favorite. It's just a improv on set, not by me, but by my friend playing the priest. And he's that got a chuckle out of me. I was very glad he came up with that.
That's awesome. Well, let's see. Tokupunk is asking, I don't know what this is referring to. Why did you tag Marco Satsu when you don't watch writer videos? And his video has way more videos than Matt's, and everyone thinks he started the trend, and Daikaiju is the name of he's Cross Dragon?
I think he's talking about a video I made at the start of last year, where our buddy Professor Kaiju tagged me.
Oh yeah.
In
he tagged me too.
Yeah, in the 5 question challenge or whatever.
You should do that again. It was fun.
I know, that was a great time. But I tagged Marco Satsu in that video. I guess he's asking why I did that. Just because he makes good content. I don't watch Rider, but like I discovered his content kind of around that time. But I really like the stuff that he's putting out. I was like, okay, this is really good. This guy seems really cool. He had like more subs than me, so I'm just like, oh, here's a little morsel of people who might come check your stuff out. But even if I don't watch Rider, it could be cool to like get more people kind of crossing over into his territory and discovering Rider, because I'm trying to get into it. But he was a little bit of my gateway into learning about like some of the shows going on and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what the last part of that means. Daikaiju is the name of the Cross Dragon. I'm not sure what that means.
Okay then. All right, last question for the evening. When's the next Zone Fighter episode?
It might be G Fest this year. That's because I I mentioned earlier, I think I have a lot of episode 9 that's filmed. Um, Not all of it. Like we shot a lot of it right before um, the whole sickness spread in 2020, and we haven't shot a lot of it since then. But um, so it could be G Fest. That's usually what I try to shoot for with like Zone Fighter episodes and just big video releases overall. So if that doesn't like get canceled last second this year, it might be then. I don't know. Those are probably the most like involved and complicated videos to like get people scheduled together to shoot stuff, because a lot of the people involved in those are like friends from high school that like, they go to college out of state, or they live somewhere else now. So it's like we rarely get together as is, and then like on top of like, okay, well let's shoot a video now. Like it's hard to, that adulting thing.
Yeah, there it is again, the adulting thing.
Right? It's hard to find as much time as we used to have to do that, but it's I'm excited to get it out when it's ready, and hopefully maybe G Fest. I guess don't quote me on that. I guess
Maybe G Fest, possibly, but don't bet on it. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric Zilla, 1999, for that question. Thank you, Jake, for coming on to my show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And to you watching at home, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me and my fantastic guest. An extra special thank you to Brian Truong, Rogue Firefly, Hipster Punchy, Bonus Commentary, Danny Demana, Nathan Marchand, and Miguel Barroso for supporting me on Patreon. If you want to be cool like those people I just mentioned, you can follow the link down below in the description to become a patron for just $1 a month. Not only will you get a live shout out at the end of each episode of Chill with Kaiju Kim, you'll also get access to exclusive content, including unreleased videos, behind the scenes vlogs, and bloopers. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, like this stream if you had a good time here tonight, and don't forget to come back next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.